Alright, this took a long while for the post office to release. That's a sturdy tire. There we are. Nice. Relio watches. Nice. A cleaning cloth. Relio watches. Very nice presentation. Very nice accessories. Oh, this definitely reminds me of Zelos boxes. You can put your links here on the sides. That tape. That bezel.
Designer Notes Subject 94. Like, comment, and subscribe for content you'd like to see next. Follow us at Instagram at Design Atelier Aruba for behind-the-scenes content. Email us at designatelierviewer@gmail.com. This video is brought to you by Relio Watches. In the beginning, one of the biggest questions about this channel is if it's possible to review products without holding them physically and testing them for a reasonable period of time. I found that even though it is possible to give a meaningful commentary on all things design, there is no substitute for the real thing on your hands, or in many cases our wrists. The Relio Solstice is a case against the former, and by the end of this video, I believe you'd be arriving at the same conclusion. The Relio Solstice is the first offering of Relio watches. Here's hoping that more models are in the works because the Solstice is one well-designed watch that builds enthusiasm for the company's next products. The case dimensions comes in at 38mm in diameter with a thickness of 11.9mm. This is becoming more and more the golden dimensions for sports/dress watches. The length measures at 46mm from lug tip to lug tip with a 20mm lug width. This lug width tapers down to 16mm at the end of the clasp. The whole watch is made of 316L steel with various surface finishes. The model we are reviewing has a fume red dial with applied indexes. These indexes are all lumed with VGW9 Super Luminova. We have a sapphire sandwich going on here with the front and back crystals being made of sapphire. Its case back houses the time-only Miyota 1939 movement and is suited for the dial setup that the Solstice has. This movement is protected up to 100 meters of water resistance with a screw-down crown. Many might see these specs and may conclude that these are very good proportions, and I highly agree. When looking at just images and videos, it's hard to determine the amount of thought that went to the proportions of this watch. On my 6¼ inch wrist, this 38mm case feels right at home. There's enough space for my wrist line to breathe into. This 46mm lug distance is also just right without any protrusions. This is also helped by the female end length while delivering comfort to the wrist. As I opened the box, the bezel immediately caught my attention because of this very dramatic slope that almost lays flat on the watch face. This large surface bezel collects and reflects light so much because of its mirror polish. It's a high contrast surface that begs to be looked at often. Beneath this mirror polished bezel is the satin finished lugs and end links. The graining of these parts follows the bracelet direction, giving the case a flow of light as you turn your wrist. Couple this too with the crisply cut and narrow lugs, and you get this very cool elongating effect. These are large surface areas that does not sacrifice the wearability of the watch. The end link is slightly longer next to the lugs. That sort of rounds out the lug shape without actually making a curved line. Along the sides, you can get a glimpse of the relieved cuts that's sandblasted on the inside. I love this detail of the case. The satin finish frames further enhances the contrast of this recessed feature. This is also present on the side of the crown that is broken up by the beak-like crown guards. It's nice to see too that these crown guards are matched to the finish and form of the lugs. The crown itself has a polished flat surface that's etched with the Relio logo. This 4.5mm screw-down crown is easy to grip and turn. As you turn the crown, you can feel the grittiness of the Miyota 9039. This workhorse movement is very reliable, and actually nicely decorated too, compared to other mass-produced movements out there. It's great too that Relio put in the effort on signing the rotor when most would just save the expense. Another benefit of finally holding a unit for review is that I can confirm that this is not plagued with the notorious Miyota wobble. Well done, Relio! This movement is manufactured under Citizen, packing in 42 hours of power serve, is a high beat movement at 28,800 bph, and is accurate at 10 to 30 seconds per day. This movement has a hacking seconds feature along with the parashock system for those rough situations. Flipping onto the dial side, we are welcomed with the now familiar red Fume dial. Red has been the rage in the past few months until green started taking its mantle. But the red on this dial is still a delight to watch. It shimmers on low light conditions, and on direct sunlight, it vibrantly reflects the sun's rays. I've seen quite a few Fume dials now, but this one has a deeper black, making the transition from red to dark more dramatic. The text on this has a good balance as well. I still prefer the very well designed logo to have more prominence than the Relio text itself, but on this dial, it's really more of a nitpick than anything else. The handset is pretty straight cut, unobtrusive, and it's pleasant to watch that sweeping seconds hand. But what's outstanding about this dial are the applied indexes. Of course, you've already noticed that they are oddly shaped. These actually help add a sense of organic and lively spirit to the dial. It looks as if they're sharp teeth from a steel creature of sorts on your wrist, or more appropriately, steel wings from this burning phoenix. Sure, I may be stretching here to find context on these inanimate markers of a watch, but that's the very least what these indexes evoke, a reaction. Hinting at its fielding nature, the quarter markers are extra long and imposing. This is a great decision on Relio's part, making this dial similar to crosshairs of a scope or even a compass. All these indexes are nicely loomed with blue VGW9 Swiss Luminova, a good choice for a premium looking fielder. After talking about the dial, you might think that we're about to wrap up on this review, but the bracelet also brings the heat with this sweet tapering profile. Not only is the bracelet articulate near the case, but its 4mm taper provides a much appreciated comfortability on the wrist. The side of the links are also polished, which extends the multi-finished facets of the watch. These links are connected using screw pins, making it easy to resize the links off. The clasp is very nicely milled and solid to the touch. There are pin adjustments on the clasp, but don't expect any mechanical micro adjustments on this one. So I couldn't resist and compare it to the Zelos Blacktip But I feel I'm trying to compare two of my children here. If you look closely enough, you might think they do belong in the same family. But upon wearing the Solstice, the contrast is very apparent. While both do wear small on the wrist, the Blacktip flares somewhat away from your wrist with that sort of flat bezel. The Solstice, however, curves along with your wrist. This makes it wear a little smaller and more comfortable. The dial is a little simpler with the lack of a wheel date. And beside each other, it's clear that both has a place in anyone's collection and occupies the particular need or dress code. Priced at $395, the Solstice is firmly planted on the affordable watch arena while offering premium features and aesthetics. It also has a green variant that shows the considerable foresight on Relios' part, seeing that green is trending at the moment. You can't go wrong with any of the two. There is no substitute for the real thing. Pressed photos and carefully crafted videos can only take you so far as to what this watch has to offer. Its impressive and graceful manipulation of light needs to be seen and felt firsthand. The Solstice is a real gem in the field watch category that's saturated with rugged tools and styling. It's a luxurious take to the do-everything watch from the Microbrand scene. The company encourages you to take risks and do something new. But buying a Relio Solstice is hard to see as a risk at all.